Hello and welcome back to Galactic Reviews. When it comes to movies, the audience doesn't like having the wool pulled over their eyes. So when a trailer for an upcoming spy thriller starring Henry Cavill shows up, or like plays on the big screen as you're watching another movie, it piques your interest because it's Henry Cavill and it's a spy thriller. He's in a spy movie. He's going to be playing sort of a Bond-esque type person supposedly in this movie. And Argylle is everything but that. It is a atrocious film. It is a horrible film. And before I go any further, spoiler warning for Argylle, in case you wanted to watch it. To put it in perspective, a couple friends of mine also went to go see this. I'll kind of give you their thoughts before I go into my thoughts here. Micah, who's been on the channel before, said, if someone held a gun to my head and told me to rewatch Argylle, tell my family I love them. Kind of drastic, but, makes the point. Got to be top 5 worst movies I've ever seen. And here's one by Grant, who's also been on the channel a couple times before. Let's see here. Nothing was funny. Nothing looked good. The writing was on the same level as a State Farm commercial, which is being generous. The cast mailed this in, probably all mad they signed on to do this. And not once did I care about what was going to happen. There you go. That's 2 people. For those of you who are in the know or not in the know, this movie starts out as this writer is writing about spies and writing a book about spies and ends up writing a whole bunch of books on spies. And this is her 5th book. She's getting it out. Or this is her 4th book, and she's talking about her 4th book, and she's getting ready for her 5th book to drop. And yeah, all of a sudden, on a train ride, going to see her folks, all heck breaks loose, and she apparently kicked a hornet's nest because she got so close to the truth about a spy organization that's in real life. So then she's on the run. She has to run, try to help figure out the clues that she did for her unfinished novel because she didn't finish it all the way. But she's a fortune teller, according to the spies. They think she's just a fortune teller and can give way to all the secrets that they need to take down this organization. Hence why one spy organization, the rogue spy organization that's written in her book, wants to stop them. And the spy organization that is the evil spy organization that's written in the book also wants to stop them because they don't want to be ratted out to the public. They think they're still told that they're fiction. They don't want any dots to be connected. They don't want to seem too close to the truth. Kind of like with Frank Sinatra and Godfather. So it goes down that path, keep going further and further, and then it gets worse. What started as a mid-tier film just got worse and worse and worse as time went on. One of the biggest Henry Cavill is the spy in the book, and John Cena is his like double, like his buddy, the guy that has his back. And apparently the writer of the book, who is played by Bryce Dallas Howard, is supposedly Henry Cavill's character. Find out later in the film that she is the secret spy. It doesn't make any sense. And then you find out later that they had been waiting 5 years to get in contact with her, even though they had been like spying on her the whole 5 years. And the only reason why they say that they were waiting on her, that they didn't contact her in 5 years to help sort of get her over this mental block that she was having of not remembering anything from her spy years, is because they didn't want to lose all her memories entirely. Whatever that means. Even though later on in the film, she has to go down memory lane multiple times. This film contradicts itself completely. And apparently Bryce Dallas Howard who is addressed, has not been a spy for 5 years, is still able to beat up spies that have been active in combat for what can be presumably be at least 5 years, or at least the most recent 5 years. And Sam Rockwell, he did bring charisma to his role, but the film sucked. His character part sucked. He is essentially written as, he is shown as John Cena in the book, and Sam Rockwell is the regular version, is the real life version, according to the film, and it still sucks. And he's not the role. It's weird. It's so horribly done. There's a whole bunch of scenes that are spoofed off from other things, like they steal Winter Soldier plots where apparently the doctor who helped have her sort of re-engineered her mind had the ability conveniently, and that didn't need to be used until a set time frame, that she can now mentally control Bryce Dallas Howard's character. And because she's a woman, Sam Rockwell is not going to fight her. So yeah, there's that wonderful tidbit of information. In one of the big giant fight scenes, which is mostly CGI, the oil, I believe, is CGI. The Bryce Dallas Howard in that scene is mostly CGI. I think the bad guys are probably real, but the fighting seems forced. Bryce Dallas Howard's character has been out of combat, and apparently the way she was mentally psyched into for this new life as Ellie Conway. But by the way, her agent name is Agent Argylle, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, as their whole link to Agent Argylle. It's just, there's a whole bunch of problems with this. There is so many problems with this film. Anyway, one of the big scenes that is ridiculous is that they're on a ship, on a concrete deck on a ship, or what seems to be concrete deck on a ship, and they're in like this oil room where a whole bunch of, and then like bullets are flying everywhere, and apparently when they hit the oil canisters, they don't blow up, but they leak oil. So the oil gets on the floor. For whatever reason, the main Bryce Dallas Howard's character all of a sudden gets the idea of putting blades on her boots and skating on oil and concrete. She is skating on, not ice, not on an ice rink, on oil and concrete on a ship. Add on top of that, she has to ask Sam Rockwell's character if she knows how to skate, even though the accident that supposedly caused her, or that the rogue organization had brainwashed her into thinking that the reason why she was in the hospital was because she was in a skating accident. That tells me in the 5 years that she never went back to skating, which, as was shown from her parents, was a big part of her life. Why in the world would she not go back to skating if it was such a big part of her life? Unless she was told otherwise, I wouldn't think she would not go back to skate. It makes the logical leaps that this movie makes you go through. The parents, the film assumes the audience is dumb in order for you to even enjoy the film. So much so that the only way to enjoy the film is the way my brother kind of does, is by thinking this whole film is satirical. Throughout the film, there are constant like shock factor moments or gotchas, like plot twists in the film. One of the plot twists is that her mother and father aren't really her mother and father. So yeah, that happens. Like, her mother and father aren't her mother and father. It makes some sense looking back on it as to the plot that they were going for. That's one of the bigger shock factors. And you get like multiple shock factors. Like you find out before that Sam Rockwell's character wanted to kill her, or was complaining to what essentially can be assumed Samuel L. Jackson's character, that he wanted to kill her, only to find out that he only meant her alias, the fake version of her, and wanted to bring back the real version of her. But he said it in a very dumb way, and not in a way that anybody who, having gone through everything or knowing everything that we know he knows, would have said in what would assume to have been thought of to be a private conversation, or what he would have known, or what he would have thought to have been a private conversation with this other guy who knows everything else. It was essentially specifically put in there in order for them to have that big pivot point, so that way they can go to the parents and bring the parents in to go again to another pivot point. It's essentially made to either confuse you or just be completely irrelevant to the movie, and essentially make it so dumb that it is funny by satirical standpoints and not at all by being a good film, which is the only way that which is one of the ways that my brother viewed this film. He viewed it very much like a satirical film, as there were so many plot twists and turns and contradictions for the spy movie that he ended up finding it funny and enjoyed it, which is really the only way that you can actually enjoy this film, because it is just downright satirical. Nothing in this film makes sense. There's like a giant fight scene between Sam Rockwell's character, Bryce Dallas Howard's character, and a whole crew of spies, and they do it in the most horrendous way to kind of be like a love scene while people are dying. I don't get, like, this is supposed to be, you are taking people's lives here, and you're just fantasizing the moment. I don't get, like, I get like these people, you might not view these people, these people might be evil, but you're still taking lives, and yet you're not giving it the same gravitas. You're treating it with this carefree attitude, like it has no consequence. Add on top of that, the villain goes out like a punk. He ends up getting bested by the cat in the film, because Bryce Dallas Howard's character is a cat lady, despite them trying to tell you that she's not. She's a single, timid cat lady, which is a self-insert by the writer of the book this is based on, because that's what it was written to be. Originally in the book was a self-insert. So this is a self-insert. They're continuing that trend. At least they kept honest to that. If you go to watch this film, don't expect it to be good. Like, if you want to point at it and laugh at it for the whole 2 hours it's on, then feel free. It's a free country. But if you're going in expecting a good spy film, this is not the film for you. If you're expecting a good action thriller, don't go see this film. Do not go see this film. Samuel L. Jackson's character pretty much does nothing in this film. He's supposed to be this suspected agent, and he does nothing in this film. There's this other character that's supposed to be like the third wheel to Bryce Dallas Howard and John Cena, or not John, Sam Rockwell. And she's in there for like 3 minutes, but they make it seem like it's a big reveal towards the end. But she gets shot through the heart at the beginning of the film, as she's in the book. But at the end of the film, it is told that she survived because of a cardiovascular cavity. Now, I don't know how real this is. It could possibly be real, but the fact that somebody gets shot through the heart with a bullet, like, granted, it misses the heart, but you're probably also still hitting lung tissue and ribs. There's that possibility that you're hitting ribs, and also that when you're shooting, just because you shoot a bullet into a body doesn't mean the bullet's not going to either expand and create a wider cavity in the body than what you're showing. But also there's going to be a giant wound exit. There's also going to be a giant bullet exit that both times that this happens, because this happens twice. It happens to the diversity hire lady, because I can't remember her name. The diversity Steve Jobs is essentially what she is, and the Sam Rockwell character. And happens twice, and they just get shot through the heart, or technically shot through the heart, and with the crappy explanation as to how they survive, and they don't bleed out to death. They're somehow just able to walk it off, like don't have any broken ribs, no like problems breathing, no like wound outside, no wound on their back. No, we're just showing the front, and they just cover the. This is a horrible fan fiction movie. This is a self-inserted fan fiction movie. The reason why it's self-inserted fan fiction movie and not just a self-inserted movie, no, if it's a self-inserted spy movie, is because the end credit scene tries to tie it in to the Kingsman, as well as they also throw Henry Cavill in at the end as a different character that has a mullet and is chewing tobacco for some reason, for no reason other than just a plot twist kind of moment. And yeah, this is the most ridiculous film I've seen. The more you talk about it, the more aggravated you get about it. As I've clearly found out. Like, I didn't think I would be this aggravated about this film, but as I've talked more about it, the more aggravated I've gotten. I was probably going to give it maybe a 1.5, maybe 2, because I thought it was bad, but didn't think it was that bad. But the more I've talked about it, the angrier I've gotten because of the plot inconsistencies, the horrible stuff that they've done. So, yeah. It's not good. Definitely not good. I'm giving it. I'm going to go ahead and give it a. I'm going to put it on par with The Room. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. I think it is a self-inserted mess, and it needs to die as a film. As a film, it needs to die. This film never needs to have a sequel. You need to take it out of the Kingsman sort of universe that you're trying to make it. Shove it into. Don't do that. Okay. Don't. Just don't. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Argylle. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and whether or not you'd like to hear Andrew and Zach's take on the film. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time on Galactic Reviews.